Hi, I'm Kristen Perrin. I'm the author of How to Solve Your Own Murder. It's a book about a woman named Frances who, when she's 17 years old, is told by a fortune teller at a country fair that one day she's going to be murdered. Frances lives her life by this prediction and tries to prevent it by digging up dirt on everyone she possibly crosses paths with in order to try to prevent this from happening. She's unsuccessful, unfortunately, and is murdered 60 years later. She was so tired of not being believed by her skeptical friends and family that Frances set up her will to stipulate that whoever solves her murder inherits her millions. And it's up to her great niece Annie to catch the killer. I'm here in Waterstones, Piccadilly, and I'd like to share 3 books with you that inspired How to Solve Your Own Murder. The first one is I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith. This is one of my favorite books of all time. It's narrated by 17-year-old Cassandra, who lives in a crumbling castle in the Suffolk countryside in the 1930s. Her father is a former famous writer who can no longer write anything, and she lives in this bohemian sort of lifestyle, and her older sister Rose and her have their lives turned upside down when the castle is inherited by a wealthy American family with 2 charismatic and handsome sons. Cassandra's narration is absolutely wonderful. It's quietly electric and it has such a wit and wisdom about it. If you're looking for something that is vintage and just charming, this is a great place to start. The second book that I want to show you is this one. It's Malice by Kigo Higashino. This one is one of the cleverest murder mysteries I've ever read. It takes the concept of whodunit and turns it completely on its head, and it becomes more about the why than the who. It has to do with the death of a very famous writer who dies in this classic locked room scenario. And the detective who's called to investigate the case meets the best friend of our victim, and it turns out that he's a writer too. And he's someone who has a past that's entwined with the detective's own past. The twists in this one just flip all over each other until you think you can't possibly have any more flips, and then it surprises you again. Keigo Higashino also wrote The Devotion of Suspect X, which is a bestseller, and I think that Malice will surprise even the most seasoned murder mystery fans. The final book I want to show you is The Robber Bride by Margaret Atwood. This is one of Margaret Atwood's that I don't see talked about quite as much, and I think because it's got a slightly different feel to her other work. But this one has some really fantastic multiple points of view in it. It's about 3 women who, when they were in their 20s, all had their lives ruined by the same woman. That woman was named Xenia, and they all think that she's dead decades later. And they meet up in a cafe to catch up, and they spot her very much alive. And it takes us back into the past to kind of unpick what exactly happened to each of these 3 women. It's a book that has a really interesting mystery that winds through it in the form of Xenia. She's this puzzle that nobody can quite pin down, and who she is depends on who she's talking to. It's got some interesting themes of toxic female friendships. There's a lot of drama, and a lot of kind of interesting questions about what it means for someone to lie to gain power over other people. I think it's a propulsive read. It's quite addictive, even though it's really quite thick, but highly recommend trying this one out.